Bye. This guy's a creepy motherfucker, so even though he probably can do what I want him to do, I kind of would like to deal with anything else or anyone else if possible. So let's maybe wander off for a bit. I don't know, I got more day to consider other options, right? We don't need the phrenologist.
So, how'd you like our harbor?
You've been in there, he means. Talked to the boss man too, probably. It's nice enough. It's but a rest area on the path leading across open plains, he notes solemnly, then turns to you, a wide smile adorning his face. Right, you talk to the boss eye to eye, like men of the plain. If you have any more questions, I'm set to talk. Any idea who killed the hangman? The mercenary, aye? He shrugs. Who could have killed him? That's indeed the question. Why even do such a thing? He shakes his head solemnly. The merc was hanged with a very specific type of cargo belt, one often used in heavy transport areas, for example, harbors. What a thought, he scoffs, looking shocked. Why would noble workers resort to such a thing? Unless they were pushed, of course. Pushed how? Your dead guy was an enemy combatant. Did you kill him? I ain't the murdering type, but that's just me. Large organizations like our union have all sorts of men, with all sorts of skills. He's not lying about not doing it himself. Understood. The lieutenant takes a note. This has been of limited use. Still, thank you. No problem. I wish the best to you in your search. Sure, I'm glad it's not my search. He takes a sip from his flask. I don't want to deal with the creepy phonologist man anymore, so let's poke around a bit more. Oop. A Stas Rashko, one of the finest Zemek-made motor carriages ever. An oldie, but a goodie. Who drives these? Not many people outside of Grad and Revicol West, too, it appears. Hey, Cam, check this out. A Stas Rashko Keke 2. That's a classic model. The lieutenant replies with a nod. Never thought I'd see another one repainted after what happened last time. Hold on, maybe I can impress him. Do I know what happened last time? No. Only that the motor carriage is typically baby blue, the colors of Sigismund the Great, an ancient Zymesk ruler. His banners were famously Zafir and white, with the colors of the Stas Rashko. A really specific gamble. They fucked up the painting, so they shot him. No. What happened last time, Kim? An old case from my precinct. A couple of Zymek migrants saw a Stas Rashko stopped in street, painted it just like this, muddy brown. Murdered the driver on the spot. Whoa, I was way closer than I thought I was. Oh wait, no, they didn't paint it. It just was painted this color. Never mind. I was just so ready to be proven wrong. They said it was an honor killing, Hussar style. The Zymesk community protested the trial, flying the banners of some old king or whatever. He shakes his head. 5,000 came to protest. Correction, 4,395. The fourth largest public protest of a criminal trial in Revicol. Who are the Seams community? People we are paid to protect. The lieutenant shakes his head. Let's leave it at that. Where they sentenced the killers to? He studies his reflection in the car window. 4 years for murder and reunion. Lieutenant shrugs. The perps were remorseful. Their sorry knocked 8 years off the sentence. That's the system. The prisons in Greater Revicol Industrial Harbor are already full. Prisoners are expensive to maintain. The longer the sentence, the larger the cost. Kim, could our hanged man have been the driver of this car? Could it be another Stas Rajkomoda? He gives you a crooked smile. Honestly, that just doesn't seem like the type of vehicle a dead guy would drive. So my initial guess is that the two were not related. Interesting. Before we proceed, I've got an opinion on this paint job. Yes, detective? I should have left it baby blue. You sure you're not Zimisk? He shares a smile with you only for a second. I'm going to pronounce that word differently every time I encounter it. That's a nightmare. Did I level up? I did level up. Do I have another thought yet? I so frequently have more thoughts. I do have another thought already. Apricot chewing gum scented. Boom boom. Yes, you're sure you're not. Or if you are, it's only in that Revicolian way, 4 to 5% maximum. Thanks, Encyclopedia, that knows my genealogy, evidently. Surprised there's still new encounters around here. Oh, that's this lady again. No. Just kind of burned out, just kind of sitting there. Ah, Rita. Might as well make a little money, since I've been gathering all these things.
Is this about the questions again? Because I don't really know anything.
Is it this thing? 1 bottle, 10 cents. 2.8. It's not a lot. Your bottles clunk into the machine, and the money appears in the with a satisfying jingle. You're a richer man now. Yeah, I made some money, I suppose. A lot, though. I guess I only had 28. There's a little awkward thing when you're walking around where if you click on something that you can interact with, but for some reason it doesn't work the first time, you have to walk away, then come back and click on it. You can't click on it again while standing still, because the act of standing still won't trigger any kind of check for trying to open it, I guess. Closed for winter. Please use main entrance. Alright. I need to check with dispatch. It's probably been a day now. What was that check that I just saw? Snow covers the white on blue police livery of the motor carriage. The white colors nearly meld together. Why am I thinking about this? Wasn't I supposed to do something important? Something murder related? There's always something important. Doesn't mean you can't take a moment to admire the piece of machinery. This is a Copris Canema. The Capri Motor Corps follow up to their highly successful workhorse, the Capri 40, and the answer to the LUM's racing bred Fever series. With its air-cooled, rear-mounted 12-cylinder compression ignition engine driving the rear wheels through a 4-speed manual gearbox, the Canema is able to reach 100 kilometers per hour in 13.5 seconds and go to the top speed of 180 kilometers an hour. Won't it roll over in the first sharp corner? The high center of the balance is offset by a large battery bank mounted at the bottom of the cabin, feeding all the auxiliary systems and making the Canema effectively a mobile power plant. This tech talk's really rubbing me the right way here. Due to a quite steep price tag, it is very unusual to see one in police livery. That machine really puts the loco back in locomotion. Point to the vehicle. Very cool. The lieutenant smiles ever so slightly. You want to take a closer look? We already have, kind of, but this check's showing up now. What's it packing there? Point to the engine. 130. I reckon there's a 7-liter V12 there. An advancement of the KR-18GU engine of the Capri 40, to be precise. That's what? Rub your chin. 7-liter V12? 7.2 supercharged. The lieutenant's trying to suppress a smug smile, unsuccessfully. A fine machine. Run your hand over the smooth metal surface. Yes. There's gentleness in the lieutenant's voice as his eyes run over the vehicle's contours. An extraordinary machine. He really likes this vehicle. So he probably was fantasizing about potentially using the spinners, even though he knew they'd be so unprofessional for a cop. That's why he kept them around but didn't actually put them on, because he was hesitant in both directions at once. Helium headlights would improve the range and quality of the visual field a lot. Ever thought about switching to helium headlights? Actually, I have a pair at home, just haven't gotten around to fitting them yet. I need to lay some wiring for the ballasts first. If we ever get this case solved, maybe we can do it together. Maybe. He replies with an apologetic smile and nods. Yes, definitely maybe. And means no. Aw. Okay, let's move. Of all the things that I do as this character, one of the ones I least relate to is car talk, but I know that it's like I have the skill for it, and it specifically appeals to, it seems to have bonuses towards like bonding with Kim, because it's something he genuinely cares about, clearly. So I'll humor it. Have you heard back from the ICP about the serial number? Yes. The armor was produced by, she looks at her notes, Fairweather in their facilities in Biencourt sur le Chef in 42. It was part of a special order for Corps de Pharmacie, a security firm contracted to protect the interests of Orangie's pharmaceutical companies in the Sabine conflict. She browses pages. So, it seems the armor went to Semening. That's where the paper trail ends, though. Even the firm has proven difficult to track. Corps de Pharmacie has been renamed several times over the years since the armor was issued. Do you know what it's called now? The most recent registered firm that the ICP has been able to connect to the CDP is a military contractor called Krenel. And the one before it was Downwell. I think they might be the same contractor. A suit of armor like this would have been manufactured with a particular person's physique in mind. You should ask for whom this suit was fitted. A suit of armor like this would have been customized to fit the wearer. There must be a record of the person to whom it was issued. Yes, but the ICP tends to be reluctant to share private sector records. I could try to talk them into it, though. Yes, please do try. It's imperative that we learn whose armor this was. Sure, call back tomorrow. Hopefully I will have more information for you then. So we'll know the identity of the guard. Distressing we don't know the identity of the guard already. I guess it might be because if he had a wallet it was probably taken by now. The special borscht, right. We want to talk to the cook. Alright, one more thing has changed. I got a few things to check in on. I gotta pay my rent for tonight, and I could talk to the chef about the special borscht. I wonder if something's in it. Something illicit, perhaps.
Can I help you?
Got the 20 real. Yep, 20 real for the night. Good. You got the room for the night, but remember, you'll need another 20 real tomorrow. Yep. Working on it. Yeah, problem is I can't talk to this guy. Leo said you're friends with Mañana. Is that true? The mention of Mañana gets his attention. He smiles and delivers a whole slew of unfamiliar words and lively gestures, then he falls silent again. Oh. What's in that borscht you're making there? Point to the pot. The man says a couple sentences that in that strange language of his, and then seems to wait for you to speak. I'm pretty sure he asked you a question. He doesn't know your language. You can just say something cool in return. Mercury rising. Run your fingers through your hair. The man looks at you, then at the soup. His face lightens up. He picks up the bottle from the shelf. Borscht, need more vodka? Okay, so it's vodka that it keeps the men happy and in good spirits. Clever move by the Union. Of course, vodka. Now that makes it a very, very special borscht indeed. Turn it up and then ask for some yourself. Turning it up seems like a dangerous idea, honestly. The place is a powder keg. You can tell him to increase or decrease the vodka. No vodka. Or much vodka. I love how the check for the idea of whether or not it's a bad idea to increase the vodka is seen as trivial. Like it's hilariously easy to be able to know that that's a bad idea. What if it's a great idea? I don't know. Part of me is just thinking that maybe it's a good idea to increase the vodka because then people kind of lose control and kind of get less clammed up, and I can maybe get some more answers out of certain people if they're less reliable or less reserved. But none of my checks are implying that idea. I'm only getting checks saying, oh god, no, don't do that. Electrochemistry wants me to do it, but electrochemistry is just an addict that just wants chemicals. There's no indication that it's a good idea. It's just electrochemistry just wants me to take all the drugs and do all the booze. Do all the booze. I'll leave the cooking to you. I had business. The cook gives you a long, inspecting look, then shrugs and seems to wait for you to speak. Stay masculine. That whole interaction. Alright, well that continues to be a curiosity, and the sleeping guy's gone, as I should have expected after the first, day. He's just gone now. I'm gonna have some questions, sir.
Now it's turning into a kind of a snow limbo, man. What's on your mind?
You seem like a man who knows about drugs. Ah, man. Me and narcotics go way back. He folds his hands behind his head and leans back. Had some good times surfing the psychedelic waves of my own consciousness, you know? But... he pauses, letting the memory dissipate. Those days are behind me. There are other addictions in my life now. Why the inquiry, man? Let me be straight with you. I'm trying to figure out who's smuggling drugs out of Terminal B. The lieutenant steps in. We have a credible lead, sir. Someone on this roundabout is waiting for a bulk shipment from the harbor to load it onto their lorry and drive it into Jamrock. Not me, man. No way. I don't need any trouble. Shit's bad enough anyway. This jam's got folks up in arms, and I'm afraid it's headed towards a conflagration. Wait, then why are you still hanging around? Gotta guard the stuff. Bosses don't look kindly on missing cargo. And it gives me time to work on my rhymes. A rhymesmith? This is quite credible. It goes with his cadence and his way of speaking. Who do you think could be conducting the drug trade, then? Look, man, I try to stay away from the criminal underbelly of Revoco. I'm a guest here. You really need to find another man to probe with these questions. We wouldn't say he's lying, sire. He's a poet. Hit him with your best verse. Wait, there's something here, stored away in some dusty corner. It starts like... A mirror's temperature is always 0. It is ice in the veins. Its camera is an X-ray. Whoa. He leans in, his eyes bright and with attention. What else? It is a chalice held out to you in silent communion. Silent communion. That's good. He's transfixed by the words. Where gaspingly you partake of a shifting identity you never own. Or never your own, damn it. Dang, he grunts, unable to suppress his reaction. That's some great shit. You came up with that yourself? I'm just a vessel for the muse. Right, but really, no bullshit, that's great stuff. I sort of want to know if it's yours. I think the words are mine, yes. Fucking A! Seems I got you all wrong. Cops aren't much known for their artistic sensibilities these days. It's good to meet a fellow poet. Someone with an appreciation for real text. The others here, see, they don't really get it. It makes it all easier to bear if the words are pretty. I getcha. When they really click, it makes the world seem manageable. I think there's a few typos here. Like, it makes it all easier to bear if the words are pretty. I don't know if I'm right or not, but I would figure it to be B-E-A-R, as in like to bear it, like you grin and bear it, as in like something that you bear, as in like you carry it. But this is certainly a typo. It makes the world seem manageable. When they really click, it makes the world seem manageable. Good to be on the same page. It gives you a thumbs up. You found some common ground with this man. You even impressed him. Next time you look in the mirror, though, remember those words. Can I defeat the mirror? My God. Why does art inspire you so much? It does, yes, but what is art? Excellent question. Art is a diverse range of visual, literary, auditory, and performative creativity. It's an expression of imagination and technical skill. Additionally, it's history, criticism, and pure enjoyment. In short, art is the highest form of human communication, representation, narrative, emotion, and agency intertwined. Would I fit into the art world? I mean, have you looked in the mirror lately? You have the exact features of a savage art critic, with the beard and those clothes, disheveled and prophetic. Perhaps you should try to critique architecture too. I guess I have been feeling critical lately. Yes! You seek substance, no vapid presentations and reproductions of social morose. As made manifest in stuffy biennials, we are talking real, live, living art here. Become the art cop. Half art critic, half cop. Wait, but don't I have to be like 100% cop to get the case finished and all that? Quit being so indecisive. What are you going for here? Some kind of indecisive and camp aesthetic now? Strike a bold shape here. Go art or go home. What are the options here? I don't know. So these are 4 different categories and I became the sorry cop. These are 4 different categories where I became communist. There is no art category though. I don't think it's at odd. I don't think art cop's necessarily at odds with other categories. It's just a result of my behaviors. And if there are other similar things, you also might be able to opt into those, but without being mutually exclusive, perhaps. Okay, if 50% art critic is what's needed to free me from rote repetition, so be it. Actual art degree? Exactly. It's not only your duty to only catch the criminals in the street, you must also apprehend criminals of the printing press and the gallery, the trite and the derivative artists and the writers of the world. Go ahead and provide savage criticisms, art cop. The world is yours to rip to pieces and reassemble. What is this? Oh right, we finished something. Rigorous self-critique. Here it is. Hard facts from the man you are. You once jerked off in the locker room and were caught. Jesus Christ, just right out the gate. You held a young woman by the arm and kept her in your apartment for 20 minutes against her will. That's right. These are not flights of fancy. These are real deeds. Harry, emerging from the darkness of your past, you tried shooting a fleeing suspect in the foot, but him in the pelvis, crippling him for life. And above all, you let life defeat you. All the gifts your parents gave you, all the love and patience of your friends, you drowned in a neurotoxin. You let misery win. And it will keep on winning till you die or overcome it. Fuck. Wow. Lot to process there. Sins of the past. You held a young woman by the arm and kept her in your apartment for 20 minutes against her will. Jesus Christ, Harry. Also, we know his name now, I guess. We're being more clear about that. Intelligence and psi red check failures heal you by 1 morale. Physical and motor red check failures heal you by 1 health. If I fail a red check, I get healed. I'm healed by failure. This is bizarre. I can now raise pain threshold up to 6. Well, none of that was a fun thought. Actual art degree. Yeah, it's another copo type, the worst one, the most savage and brutal, the art cop. Nothing is good enough for him. Everything is shit. You have to employ an armada of adjectives to depict and demean the mediocrity of the works and visual institutions around you. Really flex that critical muscle until the vocabulary for punishing mediocrity becomes second nature. Here we go. Perception -1. I can't even look at this shit. What have we done? What is our character becoming? I like these brain things though, because they're all based on my actions and my thoughts and so on. They're types that are based on what I'm actually doing. I find that interesting mechanically. Where was I thinking about going next? Oh wait. What's a mailbox? I was thinking more about garbage. Let's go deeper in and try to meet more people. Actually, I should probably check my objectives. Tease shit ain't nothing to me. Why does this keep lighting up like it's got something new for me? But nothing's marked as being new? Weird. Yeah, karaoke's not happening. So I can't ask about the pissing competition until the entire body situation's done with, basically. Drink booze, don't really want to. Who made the call reporting the crime? Yeah, no lead, really. Who else is authorized to access the trash? That may take a while. Still running the numbers of the armor until tomorrow. Get the boots off his feet. Ask around about the tattoos. Got a measure head on the gates, unless I can do something else. Still trying to process Kuno's weird bullshit. Secret passage. There are strange doors in the whirling. No one knows where they lead. Find a way in. Tracking down my badge and my gun. Not a lot of leads there. Armor pieces. Armored gloves, just another piece. Little girl in the fishing village. Smokers at 21 o'clock. If I go southwest across the canal, I might be able to find what happened to that husband. What is that? We have an icon down there. A spatter of bullet holes lines the wall. The sight of bullet holes stirs something in you, making you forget the lieutenant's surname. Take a look closer. The fading marks are too degraded to draw any forensic conclusions. Chips in the sandstone. They look pretty ancient. Kim, look, bullet holes. Where? He looks around. Someone's been shot. We're cops. We should solve it. There? He looks to the wall. Those are old. You mean like from the Revolution? Yes. The ones that happened half a century ago. He blinks. Those bullets were fired during the Revolution and do not warrant an investigation by officers of civil law. Okay, what can you tell me about the Revolution? Not much. I don't have a fresh perspective on it. Shall we go? Shall we go? Now what's something keeps lighting up in here. What's happening? Tire tracks leading onto the roof. The slush and rain has almost washed them off. Tire tracks onto the roof? That's not how you're supposed to drive at all. Can I get that? There we go. The spirited chirps and clicks of swallows fill the air. How long have we known each other? Almost 80 years? Holy shit. That's an eternity. Is he wearing revolutionary stuff? Mon Dieu! How much can a man whine, Gaston?
Life! It doesn't need to be a struggle.
He covers his mouth to hide a burp. This part wasn't voice acted, but I guess he's chewing something.
Oh, I'll be with you in a moment, officer. Let me just finish my sandwich. Talk to angry old Rene first.
Have you no shame? Whining about your back every time you bring out the measuring tape?
Rene, you're a man with a fork in a world of soup. Please, let's just try to enjoy the game, alright?
This one's still chewing on his sandwich.
I am trying to, but you keep breaking my concentration. You're old, I can see that. We're both old. Now, stop grabbing your ass like it's a girl.
These manly men are playing balls. This is a ball game. Grab a ball and play it. Don't ask questions. Shoot first. Ask questions never. Shouldn't I ask what the game is? What game it is first? No. You got this. There's the ball. You're the game. I am very good at that, but I feel like I'm interfering. Acting without hesitation. Huh. What have I done? You are immediately surprised by the ball's lack of weight. No matter. You'll make it work. Feel the ball. The cold metal ball is surprisingly smooth against your neck. It has a pattern on it. Probably a sponsored ball. Yours would only be covered with bumps of learning and the scars of victory. Already your muscles are adjusting to the weight, the nervous system calibrating, until you and the ball have merged into a single entity. The man ball is ready. Take in the surroundings. A chilly breeze ruffles your hair, and you stand there, feet firmly planted. All sounds, smells, even the wind, everything fades until the only thing left is the union of man and ball. West, in the Grand Koran Arena, a sharp overhand left from Arsene Luke Elderbrock sends the Samaran heavyweight champion Kostya Miasnok Kosunk flying to the mat. The crowd goes wild. Reviko loves her heroes. There's time for a last glance inward. Who am I? An embodiment of pure motion. A fine-tuned locomotor running at maximum efficiency. The inertia can be contained no more than a bullet leaving a gun. Let go. Be the bullet. I don't know if I was supposed to throw them into the pond. That doesn't seem like that was the right game that I just played. I just did shot putting, which is very impressive, but what did you do? Merde! The soldier yells in outrage. Bordel de merde! A whorehouse of shit? It wasn't whorehouse of shit. The shot was probably at least 23 meters, probably 24 and then some. Nothing to be embarrassed about. What the hell is your problem? Not a weak right tricep, that's for sure. I don't care if you are a cop. You do not just ruin someone's game. It's so goddamn disrespectful. I sense anger and I don't understand why. You vandalized our game, son. He tries to calm himself. We can't play pétanque with 5 bulls. Oh, I thought it was shot put. Well, it damn well isn't. It's pétanque. I don't know. The man snaps, raising his voice again. You ruined a pétanque game. We want our bull back. Take it easy, Renee. The jolly one tries to defuse the situation. This is just a misunderstanding, isn't it, officer? No harm done. Of course there's harm done, you orange slug. The heel of his cavalry boot slams into the ground. You owe us a goddamn bowl. Oh wait, I do have a ball. Oh wait, I can't look at my inventory from here. But yeah, I do have a ball, right? I don't have a bull, but will this do? Will this? He falls silent and stares at the ball. No, it will goddamn not. Thank you, officer. The jolly man quickly takes the ball and bounces it in his hand. This is really something. Honestly, I think it's better than the old bowl even. Mon Dieu. He mumbles, rubbing his temples. All right, fine. What do you want, officer? Yes, why did you come here? It's unlikely they know anything about the murder. You never know. He might know something. This is a good vantage point. Oh no. It was him. So I also like snuck into his place, which not gonna help their opinions probably. You seem to be playing in a crater. Yes. The man nods. The terrain here provides an interesting variety for a familiar game. Does it have anything to do with the bullet holes I've been seeing around? Yes, he replies with a reluctant nod. It was left by heavy artillery fire. Okay. It's a crater left by artillery fire, but why? Why what? Why was heavy artillery used? Because that's what happens when communards hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, and turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. You use heavy ordnance to clean up your house. Wait, who are the communards again? Commies, communists, socialists, anarchists, call them what you like. They just chose the name to feel special. The carabiner frowns. Sense the sentimentality. There might be some people in the audience that are very confused about why socialists and anarchists were listed as being similar, but you'd be surprised. Anarchy is one of the most misunderstood political ideas ever, maybe, actually, because people have a very, very different idea, usually, of what that even means. But it's closer to socialist than you would think. Did you use artillery fire against them? Sadly, no. It was the foreigners who brought them to their knees. We fought valiantly, too valiantly, so valiantly we got licked. He adds, squeezing a boule in his fist. Should have fought dirty. Like they did with their suicide sex cult propaganda and mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. We didn't, though. And we lacked caliber. God bless him, but the Caesarian's cannons simply weren't big enough. It was probably a bit more complicated than that. Caesarian, a sovereign or state having control over another state that is internally autonomous. A feudal overlord. That's what they're referring to, and they keep saying that word over and over again. I thought it might have been an in-universe thing, but it has outside use. It's those foreign interests that have control over these lands. Why shell them here in Martinez? Because this place is the damn beachhead, he says, pointing to the bay. Had to soften the commies up first. The beachhead? Yes, he nods, inspecting you with some disdain. The military coordinated ambitious landing to take back Revicol. Martinez was used as one of the 3 footholds in Revicol during Operation Deathblow in 08. The other 2 are off in Stella Marie and the Delta. He points to northeast. Deathblow sounds grim. This here is Blood Ground, where Coalition boots first made landfall and cleaned those rabid dogs out. Most likely, he says, looking down at the soil. We're playing pétanque on their mangled corpses. Is that why he likes doing it? Blood Ground. The other one shakes his head. You got old Rene going there. Like he isn't angry enough already. Hold on, the Coalition? He grunts. Don't get me wrong, officer, I hate those foreign dogs, but the enemy of my enemy and all that, they're the lesser evil. Is that why everything's so bombed out? Damn right, son. They laid the fire of hell on this city before they stormed it, and it worked too. There's a strange gleam in his eyes. The rest of the city got cleaned up, but Martinez, they keep as a monument. A dark shadow runs across his face. And now the Union Socialists are practically running the place. Well, it's your own damn fault, the jolly man marks. You, we, the Coalition, Revicol, whatever you want to believe, we never finished the job. Officially, the party never surrendered. Of course, it still hold influence. You won't even begin to truly understand the players on the table, let alone the specific circumstances surrounding the... He stops mid-sentence and turns to you. What do you think? Thinking men have opinions on these things. Present one. Oh no, opinions. Foreign powers cleaned up our mess, and now they rule us. I'm sorry it had to be them. He looks down at his boots. After 8 years of fighting those hyenas, boiling cats for food, and drinking piss in the mountains, I would have preferred if the Right Honorable King Guillaume returned to Revachol, or even if that damn clown Frizzle had risen from the grave and led us. Sadly, that was not the case. Instead, all that is holy, or all that is just, holy, and beautiful in the world was wiped away, and now it's neon signs with toothpaste ads everywhere. Foreign influence peddling garbage and stupid music on the radio. He sighs. This is just what the commies wanted. This was their plan all along. This is what they wanted to replace the rule of Caesarion with. How does Philippa III factor into this? Point towards the monument. He doesn't, the veteran replies sharply. That was 100 years ago. Ain't got nothing to do with anything. It was this Frizzle. Damn Frizzle. He was the king we couldn't protect. The carabiners failed him. And the crown? The old veteran falls silent and massages his chest. He died in the hands of the hoi polloi in a very public execution. He slouches as he says that, and makes him smaller, admitting they left the king to the mob. You mentioned Guillaume? A true king, in both blood and mind, led Revachol before Frizzle. He would have been better, but the damn commies drew him into exile. Wait, Joyce and Guillaume ran, Joyce said Guillaume ran, and his nephew Frizzle was shot in his place. Commies didn't drive Guillaume out. He left when things got bad, and left Frizzle to take the hit. This is communard propaganda. Guillaume would never do something like that. He is Le Lion. What exactly is a Caesarian? The Caesarian is the king. Has everyone forgotten already? Then he slowly nods and says to himself, they've forgotten already. It's no use talking to you. You were still in Daddy's balls when it happened. When we took our last stand against the filth and rode the cavalry straight into gunfire. Oh, throwing the bull into the sea negatively affects this ability now. Anything you can tell me about this rifle? Yeah, hold out the antique firearm. It's a Belle Margrave, he says, taking the rifle. 4.46 caliber, breech loading, Revachol made, good weapon, accurate and reliable. His moves are quick and precise as he first checks the weapon, then aims at the sea. The man knows firearms intimately. This one's inoperable. The bolt spring is missing, and the mechanism's jammed shut. Still a beauty, he adds, adding the rifle back. Where'd you find her? In the basement there, point at the bookshop. I'm not surprised. He looks at the building. There are probably lots of forgotten wartime weapons lying around here. Back in the day, everyone had something stashed away. As for the rifle, I don't know what else to tell you, he shrugs. Those BM-446s are an antique. No one uses them anymore. The ammunition's impossible to find. Do you know anything about the man hanged in the backyard of the Whirling in Rags? Unfortunately, I don't, he shrugs. Unlike most of the locals, I have no qualms about assisting law enforcement, but this affair has passed me by completely. And most of the locals? In Martinez, the union is the law, so can you really blame them? But you don't have a problem with cops? Cop is a pejorative term. I don't have a problem with policemen. On the contrary, I admire the effort to bring order to our streets. He doesn't know about the crime. Your time is better spent discussing politics. What about police women? I'm confident they are indispensable in regard to all the paperwork and other administrative duties. Oh no. Police women can't be in the force, they all work at desks. Uh-oh. Not to mention keeping the station tidy and the men fed and happy. Jesus Christ. There are no duties RCM women couldn't carry out. But you must agree that nature in her infinite wisdom has made men more fit to perform certain more challenging tasks, don't you, officer? No, I don't think there's any evolutionary inequality at play here. Really, officer? He smirks. Match an average woman against an average man in a dark alley and see who comes out on top. Gender equality is very noble, very modern idea, but in real life primal roles prevail. But I do not wish to discuss this matter further. Saw the statue of Philip III near the roundabout. Ah, yes, King Philip III on his steed, a reminder of what Revicol once was. Oh, absolutely. He smiles as if reliving a pleasant memory. At the mercy of a cocaine-snorting tyrant who emptied the treasure so he could sleep on a bed of gold. A superpower, feared and respected. A testament to what this country can be under the leadership of true king. Someone who knows how to rule. How should a true king rule? Decisively, without fear of offending the sensibilities of the frail and weak-minded among his subjects. This is something the insurgents never understood. Seems to me a leader should take care of his people before himself. A nation is only as strong as its leader. That's why it was such madness to try to... Don't get started on that again. What happened, happened. There is some weariness in his voice. He's heard this rant many times before. The carabiner doesn't reply, but his entire being communicates unbreakable resolve. What was that about cocaine? Oh, old Philippa was a big fan of the purple nose candy, and the nobility loved so much. A cocaine connoisseur of sorts. He chuckles. His egocentricity is borderline legendary. You can't even take responsibility for yourself. How could you fathom the responsibility weighing on the shoulders of a ruler? He asks, obviously annoyed. That's why the Philippine kings used cocaine, for clarity of vision, to aid in their work. Regnum cocainum, Revicol's finest years. Wow. Oh, that's a name. He seems to grow taller, brimming with pride about the past. Yeah, the cocaine-fueled past. Of course. The lieutenant marks dryly. Clarity of vision. Awareness. Philip III was even brought into this world with the help of cocaine. The court medic administered a dose to his mother when she was in labor. It was well known that with the help of cocaine, only the purest of course, he was able to connect with higher realms. Oh no. Oh no. Philip III was really obsessed in just obsessed with freaking cocaine. And it's his backstory. One might think that cocaine being used on the mother while they were pregnant might have even permanently altered him in a way. It's distressing. He's just making excuses for the king's habits, isn't he? Yes. He's a cocaine addict, so the only way to justify that is to make him like a fucking cocaine sage, basically. Seems like irresponsible behavior for a monarch. Drug users shouldn't even operate heavy machinery, much less rule countries. From what I've seen for the officers of the RCM, he begins, looking you over, then stops himself. But I don't want to get into a debate about drug policies. Let's talk about something else. Right. The old man stands tall and proud, looking at you inquisitively. What is it about this old soldier that makes him stand so... Let's talk about the guard booth. That might positively affect it, or it might negatively affect it, I don't know. Renee, I found your guard booth. Yes, the Debatteurs Union pays me to stand vigil during the nights. He looks down. Not out of any political allegiance, mind you. I'm an old man, don't sleep more than a few hours every night anyway, and money's tight. He adds with a slight sigh. You must have seen something on the night of the murder. Your booth looks right into the yard. Yeah, it does. He nods. Unfortunately, I wasn't working that night. Been a 2-week leave since last Monday. So who was working your shift that night? No one. The booth has been unmanned since last Monday. He looks suddenly very old and tired. There's no other guard, it's just me. No one has been guarding the container yard since last Monday? Yes, he nods before hesitantly continuing. It's not actually an issue, I mean... Look, officers. His partner jumps in. The container yard doesn't actually need a guardsman. Never had one before Renee. Mr. Clare had that booth built specifically for him. It's mostly decorative. Mostly decorative? The possibility of someone being in there is enough to discourage any ill-minded individuals, he tries to argue. Everard created this job for Renee because he knows the Royal Carabiner's pension of honor and PTSD isn't something a man can live off. A decorated kingsman collecting tear reflects bad on the whole neighborhood. His words. Huh. Everard made an entire job just to help out an ex-soldier that has PTSD. No, PTSD. Is PTSD like PTSD, or is that something else entirely? PTSD. Pop-Tarts suck toasted. Why is that the top result? The music review website, apparently. Alright, the top result is PTSD. Planetary Transit Study Telescope. Acronyms are dangerous. They're just so overused. Prevention methods for post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. So there are instances of people saying PTSD about PTSD. I don't know why it's sometimes a T though, because it clearly would be a D. There must be a synonymous word that you can also call it, or something. I don't know, I'm just gonna assume it's PTSD, basically. That seems like it's about right. Huh. It's a new dimension for Everard, who I didn't really expect to have dimensions. There's a lot of different responses. So Everard gets it. Big guys looking after the small. Everyone working together. I love it. It is good when people look out for other people in general. But I don't know if this guy wants to be called the small guy compared to the other big guy necessarily, but also there's kind of a history of people that make a ton of money excusing away in the public view the fact that they make so much more money than everyone by doing really token gestures to give back. But what they give back is like the equivalent of like if someone like me were to give up like $45 a year, like that's the level of donation a lot of people are doing when they make mountains of money and then give a little bit back for public cred. Your Bill Gates and your Steve Jobs and especially your Jeff Bezos above all else are people that like will do these gestures that are like it's a big number by our standards, but by their standards it's like it's barely a thing. Especially Jeff Bezos, Jesus Christ, like he'll give away so little with a billion strings attached and so on, and it's like the dragon comes out. The dragon on the pile. So before I gave the guy total approval, I definitely would want to see evidence of more than just this one pet project where he's being nice to one person, basically. Because what you really need is a program to help people in this kind of situation, so they're not just forgotten. Such dependency only weakens a man further. Do or die. There is no middle ground. These people have known each other for 80 years. He's probably 90 years old then. There's no job market for the most part. Like, you don't go out there and like go become a construction worker at this age. Renee is but one man. We need a program. Get all the elderly back in the job market. Keep folks motivated. I liked the first sentence and a half. We do need a program. Like, that's what I was saying a minute ago about how like he's just one person. It's good to help one person, but there should be a system in place to help people in general that are in this situation after going so far in their lives. And being back in the job market is not necessarily the answer at this age. Renee should rent out his services, invest the profit, get a few more guys, expand and repeat. Wage work is a dead end. There's your ultra-liberal answer, standing out like a sore thumb, like as blatantly as possible. Oh yeah? You found a way to get a job? Well, anyone who rent out his services. He's talking about how you can work for other people, but it could also potentially be interpreted as like him getting a cut by renting out his job to other people when he can't fulfill it. Have other people do his watch duty, and then take a percentage of the profit while they do the actual work, and then loop through, find more and more ways to get essentially network other people into jobs while you take the profit themselves, which is while you kind of manage them, which is an element of alienation of labor. The concept where when you work a job, you make less than you make, in that you are producing X amount of actual labor, but a big chunk of that is lost to you, and the profit you make isn't one-to-one with what you're actually doing at said job. That's when you have those examples you hear of, like, I don't know if this was actually true or not, but it was this idea that like the people who farm quinoa can't afford to eat quinoa, even though they're sitting there farming it all day. Like, the very product that you deal with all day is nothing that even you can afford at the job where you make said product. And it's because so many elements of the value of what you're making are extracted by all the different people that are above you in the infrastructure that you can't, like, you end up making a tiny amount. And that's part of what I was getting at with the previous discussion with the lady on the boat, is that like she's doing very well for herself and they have like a crazy huge industry, but I get the feeling that the people, those families she brags about being dependent on her industry, are very likely not making comparable incomes or even significant incomes, because we live in a world where cops make dirt pay, and so I imagine a lot of these people make dirt pay. It's not the happiest looking environment in general, and there's a reason why she sees it as being unfit to set foot on, and she's going to stay on that boat for probably the entire game. There's absolutely nothing wrong with tear collecting. It's my side thing too. Proudly hold out my tear bag. Yeah, solidarity. There's some morale in that sometimes, although I don't know if this guy wants to associate with me, so me trying to associate with him might just make him look bad. He doesn't look great next to me necessarily, or doesn't think he does probably, so me associating me with him in that way probably doesn't make us look great. I'm phrasing this weirdly, but I just don't think he wants to associate with me. And also, like, people at his age probably shouldn't be doing trash collecting in order to make ends meet. It's pretty rough. Also, if he does depend on tear collecting, then I'm eating into his profits by moving in on his turf. So yeah, these are pretty rough. But 4 of these basically all tell him to go back to work in one way or another, despite being on death's door age, because he's probably 90 plus years old. So yeah, the best I can do is, Everard gets it. Big guys looking after the small and everyone's working together. I love it. There's a grimace of pain on the old soldier's face. Looks like he wants to argue but can't find words. Finally, his lips move. Can we conclude the topic of my guard booth now? I saw a picture in there. You were in it. Who's the girl? His features stiffen and he gets a cold look. She is nobody. This is none of your concern and I refuse to discuss my private affairs with the RCM. Aww. The lady is Jean-Marie Beaulieu. Gaston speaks with a soft voice. And she sure as hell wasn't a nobody. Aww. There's a sad story there. Got it, thanks. Yes, like I said. He brings it up again. I would be up anyway, so might as well keep an eye out. Keeps my senses sharp. That's not wrong, necessarily. I mean, I don't know if being on lookout necessarily keeps your senses sharp, because it's a pretty unstimulating thing to do most of the time, because usually it's a thing where nothing happens. But keeping busy, having some kind of job or hobby, probably preferable, because it's probably preferable for people not to have to work for a living at a certain age. But having some kind of hobby that keeps you sharp, an art form or something, can just keep your mind busy. It's important to keep your mind stimulated, because people at certain ages, or just in general really, if they're understimulated, your mind actually just kind of starts to go. It's one of the many reasons why, for example, solitary confinement is torture, because you can permanently scar somebody's mind by isolating them in a box for days, weeks, months. Causes brain damage. What is it about this old soldier that makes him stand so proud? Hey! I figured talking more would get me a little bit of a better chance. Hey! As Rene turns from you to his partner and back, the metals in his chest rattle and glare. He keeps his spine straight and his ribcage lifted, displaying them proudly. How many metals are there? 2. The larger one is shaped like a cross, while the smaller one resembles the sun. Look at the cross. A crowned head in front of 2 crossed rifles. The metal hangs from a blue striped triangle. It is the Croix de Bravoure, Cross of Valor. The cross was the highest battlefield decoration in Caesarian armed forces. Awarded for exceptional bravery in the line of duty in service of King Frizzle I. Look at the sun. A blue star. A small blue star inside of an orange sun. It has the word Valiance written below. The setting sun was a decoration used to distinguish seasoned combat veterans in service of King Frizzle during the first... okay, I'm just fucking up everything. In service of King Frizzle I during the Revolution. Croix de Bravoure. The setting sun. Did you get them for bravery? He interjects. For bravery? For doing my duty in the heat of battle. For looking my mortality in the eye, when men, like Gaston here, hid in the bushes and shat themselves. He saved some maudite Prince Maudit? No, from French to English. Damn, basically. He saved some Maudit princeling who foolishly strolled out into the front line with his gown of velvet of gold. Saved a princeling. It was on the first months of the revolution here in Rivercall. Unrest was spreading like wildfire. Marauders had taken most of Coron and were getting really ambitious. King Fristle thought he could end it all with one decisive strike. The old carabineer run his fingers over the larger metal. Sent his cousin, Dry Sant, to put an end to the unrest. Alas, the young Dry Sant was all piss and no vinegar, wearing a tunic of purple velvet and cockatoo feathers to battle. He spits. Even his riffle was gold-plated. Shown from 5 clicks away. Can you imagine the asininity? He really despises that Dearson fellow. Purple velvet tunic, the lieutenant says thoughtfully. That isn't exactly camo. To keep the long and bloody story short, Drisant marched us against the partisans in Couron. And when I say marched, I mean made us walk into captured enemy territory single file like toy soldiers, while he rode in front on his giant red stallion. The rebels were smart. They let us come real close before opening fire. Suffice to say, it was carnage. Must have been a bloodbath. I got shot in the left shoulder and went down. Just a flesh wound, but just as I turned over, the prince fell into the mud next to me. He was missing his lower jaw. Damn. Then his horse, driven mad by the noise and smell of gunpowder, stepped on my leg and shattered my knee. He pats his right thigh. Jesus Christ, this transition. Shattered knee. Interesting. Can we pick it up later and do questions now? Okay, what did you do? I grabbed my sidearm and shot the beast in the head. Then everything went black. Captain Arnaud Le Flot des Chevaux. The bane of horses. When I came to, it was all over. He continues, ignoring his companion. It was just me and Jawless Dearsan, gurgling in the blood-soaked mud next to me. The dink had taken numerous flesh wounds and lost a lot of blood, but despite missing his jaw, he seemed hesitant to die. Tougher than he looked, that one. That would never happen to Johnny Lawjaw. My jaw is tight. Jesus Christ. That's no dink, that's a fighter. So I grabbed the dink, he emphasizes, he says, with a stern look, and started crawling. Kept going until the 59th Cavalry picked us up. Through some miracle, we both survived, and the jawless freak... Okay, come on, man. Convinced Fristle to give me a medal for not leaving him to die in his own blood, piss, and shit. I mean, I guess freak is slightly warranted in that he's mad at this guy because he walked them all into an ambush. He was the commanding officer, and I was on duty, just doing my job. Shouldn't hand out medals for that. He shakes his head. 13 months later, I received the Sun for distinguished service. It's not worth mentioning. You sense he's downplaying it. He did a lot more than his duty. More than anyone's duty. It's in his spine, in his billowing breast, an untarnished self-worth. Sounds like you're being modest, Renee. The old carabineer stands quietly like a statue, his features motionless. What Monsieur Modesty is not telling you is that he crawled over 7 kilometers before the cavalry found him in Dear Sant. 2 days later, that it was. Jesus. Crawled 7 kilometers? That's incomprehensible. And that, even whilst crawling with a mangled half-dead prince on his back, and still managed to murder 3 rebels on his way. The fuck? This guy's badass and ridiculous and impossible? Is that pride in his voice? It's deep down, but maybe even unbeknownst to the man himself, it's there. Hold on, you're just a little bit proud of Renee's heroics, aren't you? Sorry, officer, but you're reading me all wrong. He chuckles. I'm a man of peace, and these kinds of bloody heroics are only impressive to men like Renee himself, certainly not to me. How did you find the story to be, officer? There's so many moments where you're like, I'm afraid of opinions. I don't like the once great part of this comment, but the other one being like, I'm not impressed is impossible. If anything that was just said is true, how could you not be impressed? Quite impressive. It's a man like Renee, who made Revicol great once. I don't like the once part. I don't like the call to the past part as much, maybe. But it is impressive. Maybe, but also bear in mind, officer, he points to the sun-shaped medal on Renee's chest. They don't hand those out for anyone with a service record. They don't hand these out for anyone with a service record. Oh no, you have to get shot. He nods eagerly, repeatedly, and you need to get your hands bloody too. Really, really bloody. Do not speak of what you know nothing about, poltroon. He slams the heel of his boot into the ground. Duty is something you will never understand. Why do you despise Jason so much? Because he was a goddamn dandy, he exclaims furiously. Had no business leading men, or even being on the battlefield. All he was related, that's it. Royal blood alone doesn't make army commanders. He was a stupid kid, only interested in horses, hairstyles, and man-loving. He spits, and 782 Royal Carbineers are dead because of his incompetence. It's like, he's right about everything he's saying, but then he just fucking, like, sneaks in creepy elements where I'm like, oh, I don't want to agree with the guy that's saying that. It's like, why do you have to be like, he's a stupid kid and he was gay? I'm like, alright, can you not? That part? Okay. Whoa, man-loving? Is that even a word? I mean, I've heard it before. It is not. Thanks for the story, Renee. His gaze wanders over the bay. There were many such stories in those days. Many such men, too. True Rivicolians. Men with backbone. Oh yes, Renee, yes. The jolly man nods meekly. Men were bigger, girls were prettier, and everyone was a fascia. Lord, please bring those days back if you can. Googling a word again. F-A-S-C-H-A. Alright, that didn't bring up any results. Let's put it in quotes now. One of the top results is... Yep. Alright, let's bring up translate better. They're just Googling it. Fascia. F-A-S-C-H-A. No, I'm not getting results for this. I get an Urban Dictionary result, but that can't be true. Yeah. Nope, fascia's not coming up, and it's not translatable from French to English from Google at least, so I'll translate from German. Huh. It's like, what if you translate from German? And then when I say, alright, cool, translate from German, it still doesn't translate into anything? So thanks for the suggestion, Google. I don't know. It could be fashionista, like, oh man, look at them dressing up. Or it could be fascist, which is more distressing. I'm not getting into this with you again. He mumbles through clenched teeth and turns to you. Officer, was there anything else? You should try to come up with a heroic story of your own. Impress this old soldier. Impress him with your heroics. Oh no. -2 because I threw the thing into the sea. Oh, well, at least failing healed me, so that's fun. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be anything worth mentioning among your achievements. You should resort to good old lying. Oh. I'm X-Army 2, Special Black Forces. Special Forces, Black Ops, Security Soldier. I had a dog, Fifi. Took her fishing late one autumn, but the boat rocked and she fell in, so I jumped in after her. Okay, no, let's move. Let's not lie to him, please. But of course, sire. Looks like they're waiting for you to speak. Thank you for your time. I'm not gonna lie to this war hero about fake stories. I just thought maybe I had something cool, and maybe I did, and maybe I could have with proper narrative clout, but I didn't have anything to contribute. Poor me. Poor me. Electrochemistry, impossible. Is it though? I bet I can take that mirror down any day now. Something else referenced the mirror, so I think I actually have a check for that now that's improved. Maybe later.